Here it goes. Alright, so here we have the cat case about Callie. Callie, the Fractious Diabetic cat. So, for question number 1. Oh, my bad. What are some ways to get the cat out of the carrier? And what should you do to the room before and when you're working with the difficult cat? So, many of the cat carriers come in 2 halves. I know that for my 2 cats, those are the types of carriers we had. They were these rigid carriers, like the one in the picture here. You can unclip the top half of the carriers to expose the cat inside, and at that point, as with this cat in this picture, it is very hard for the cat to escape your grasp, and it's also hard for the cat to stay inside the carrier. It's essentially impossible. So, if you don't have a top opening cat carrier, then you can open the door of the carrier and slide the cat out. I've seen my vet do that on several occasions. Cats love to climb out of things, so you can put the carrier on its end, so the opening is pointing towards the ceiling. And the cat will naturally climb out, or if the carrier has a top hatch, you can open that, and the cat will do the same thing. And to prep the room, it is important that if you have a difficult cat, you got to make sure that there are no escape routes for the cat, because you don't want the cat to hop out of the carrier and run around the clinic. And you should also prepare gloves in the room. If the cat's difficult, you don't want to get bitten. You want to be able to grasp the cat if when you're taking it out of the carrier. You should prep the room with towels and blankets so that the cat can hide in them, as well as using those towels and blankets to restrain the cat gently during its examination. So what difficulties are associated with cat restraint? And what do you do to minimize the stress on the cat and yourself? So when restraining cats, you can get scratches and bites when dealing with the cats. And the cats can also have bowel releases when they're nervous. I know with my dog, last time I went to the vet, he pooped and peed at the vet, and it was a mess. But when you have a difficult animal, that can happen. It's the same with cats as it is for dogs in this situation. So you can keep the cat's owner in the room if the cat is more attached to the owner. Can help make it less stressful for the cat. In the Callie's case, it's really critical to keep the stress down, to obviously not affect the lab results negatively. So you can speak to the cat in a calm and soothing voice. Calm voices, keeping everything calm, as the vet, helps reduce the stress of the owner as well. And of course, for the vet to be calm, just practicing these procedures over and over and being experienced helps for you to stay calm and stress-free. So if the owner is particularly nervous, it may help to have them wait outside. It helps to have your clinic completely under control. Your staff should have a firm grasp on what is going on. If you walk into a clinic and there's a bunch of phones ringing, the staff is all over the place, the stress level of the client's going to go way up, and your stress level will most likely already be up. So if your clinic has everything under control, your staff has things under control, then all stress levels will be lowered. And if you aren't stressed, your client will realize that there's probably nothing to worry about. So how does stress affect the laboratory results of cats? Well, for one, it can change their hormone levels. It can change their glucose and their cortisone levels. Especially since Callie is diabetic, the change in the glucose could cause a major change in her results, since that's you're testing for a lot of these numbers for diabetes, of course. So that's an important area. You want to make sure that's as accurate as possible. And the stress in blood cell counts and things can result in increases and decreases in the neutrophils, monocytes, eosinophils, and lymphocytes. So how should a cat be restrained for cephalic venipuncture? And how do you draw blood from the vessel? So you should place a hand under its head or neck, place the other hand behind the cat's elbows to extend their limb forward some. If the cat is calm, this might be enough restraint to get the blood sample without further restraint, of course. In order to draw blood from this vessel, you can raise the vein with your thumb, and as usual, insert the needle 15 to 30 degrees when drawing the blood. Same with the dogs. So here's a little video on cat restraint for the cephalic venipuncture. Just a short video. Here they take the scruff of the neck approach, which we use for the jugular venipuncture later in the video. But both of these are acceptable techniques. So describe how to restrain the cat and perform a medical femoral venipuncture on the cat. So in one hand, grasp the scruff of the cat's neck. This is the same type of thing we had the last time. Between the ears to prevent the cat from turning and biting you. That is extremely important. Getting bitten by a cat is not pleasant. So then, with the other hand, you should restrain the cat's hind legs by grasping both of them. This is a bit of a longer video. So what is a cat bag and how is it used for restraining cats? So cat bags are zippable bags that you can fit your cat into to restrain its legs. This prevents the cat from scratching and clawing at you during activities such as administering medicines to your cat, examining your cat, and treating your cat in other assorted ways. But instead of your cat scratching and clawing all over you, its limbs are trapped in the bag. So, how do you place a muzzle on a cat? And can you use a dog muzzle on a cat? Cat muzzles slip over the nose and face, and they often fasten with Velcro. It is important to not use muzzles for long periods of time on cats or too often with them. And you also cannot use a dog muzzle on a cat. For one, the facial shape and size of cats and dogs vary a ton. And cat muzzles most often cover the eyes and the mouth, as in this picture here. Whereas dog muzzles don't usually cover the eyes, they just keep their mouths shut to prevent biting and loud barking. So they're sort of different purposes. There's some overlap with the animals though, of course. So how to wrap a cat in a towel. So the towel should be a tool for reassurance, not a tool for forceful restraint. It should be gentle. So to restrain the cat, wrap the towel snugly around the body. Be gentle with the cat and make sure its head and neck stay in a comfortable position. You can also wrap its head in the towel. Of course, don't suffocate it, but you can lightly wrap its head to prevent it from turning and biting you. And it's not acceptable to wrap the cat tightly unless you really need to, but you should try to wrap the cat just snugly. So here's a short video. Let's speed this up.
Insulated non-slip surface to rest on, and can be used to gently wrap around the cat.
Of wrapping the
Cats
cat.
feel more secure when they have some cover. But this anxious but placid cat, gently swathing it in a soft towel, provides that element of security while we can still access the parts we need, a forelimb in this example, or the hind end to administer an intramuscular injection. Notice that in these examples we have been using the towel to provide reassurance, not to physically restrain these anxious cats. Lightly enclosing the whole cat within the towel keeps all four limbs under control and makes it easy to control the body without unnecessary force. We can include the head and face as long as we are gentle. This can provide an additional calming effect, as well as reducing the...
So you can see that they're, in this one, restraining the face so that the cat is, calm inside the towel, doesn't really know exactly what's going on, which might not be the best to keep it calm, but it will prevent it from biting you. And you can see that the cats are wrapped snugly, but they're not, being suffocated by the towel.
Holding the forelimbs above the elbow
Which is
and backing the cat
definitely
into the assistance
what
body
we're trying to
provides the
avoid.
additional control we need to keep the cat still. For an even tighter wrap, bring the towel up in close apposition to the neck. Make sure it's big enough to cover the whole cat with some to spare, and hold the towel tightly over the cat's back.
It's best to only wrap the cat once, because once the cat knows what's going on, the second wrap will be very tough. So you should only really
Knows what's going to happen
try
if you follow
and wrap the cat once. So, how to restrain your cat for and to perform a jugular venipuncture on your cat that is not in a towel. And how would you need to modify the restraint for Callie in this specific case? So it's sort of the same restraint as for cephalic venipuncture. You place a hand under the cat's head and neck, and the other hand behind the cat's elbows to extend their limbs forward some. Callie would need to be towel wrapped since she is very combative, as described in the text, how she screamed and clawed. So this more casual approach of restraint would not really be suitable for Callie struggling. That would make it impossible to safely draw blood from the jugular or from any other vein if Callie is struggling like that. And finally, how to trim the nails of a cat. So the scissor type nail clipper is made for cats, not dog trimmers. You should get specialized cat nail trimmers. They're the best for the cats. They're a much smaller scale. You should always trim from the sides of the nails and not the tops. And it helps to trim the nails when the cat is most relaxed. Obviously not when they're sleeping, but when they're relaxed. You should always be cautious and make sure you don't cut into the quick of the nail. It's better to go trim the nail twice than to take too much off the first time and cut into the quick. And of course, if you do cut into the quick, you can use powder. I forget what type of powder that is. Powder to stop the bleeding, or pressure. You can use wound seal powder. There's lots of different brands of powder to use, but hydrophilic powders to prevent bleeding for the cat nails. And it can help to trim only a few nails when you first start trimming your cat's nails. Then you can work up to trimming more nails in one sitting. As always, it is very important to be gentle with your cat. And here are some of the sources I used. Goodbye.